In fact, let's get in Elara's Harshit Kapadia, Vice President Analyst. Remember, as Hormuz said, they've cut the target price on Siemens to 76.70 from 8,000, but they still have an accumulate rating. So Harshit, talk about the sector per se, a top-down approach as we enter into 2025 and what's in hold for what's ahead for Siemens.
Morning. So as far as Capwood sector is concerned, we are expecting that the government capex, which was not doing that great till the first 7 months, will see a pickup mainly in Q4 because they have to exhaust the budget. So that's the first trigger that we see on the government side. As far as private capex is concerned, given that the geopolitical scenario is not in the very positive mood, a lot of capital expenditure in terms of capacity addition has been postponed by certain large core industries. Now that is giving some negative commentary on more capex, which we're expecting for private sector will be a little bit slowed, a little bit back-ended towards maybe second half of FY26 as things starts to normalize. That's where a little bit of negativeness is there.
Okay, Harshit, good morning. Thanks for joining us. I read your economist Garima's report, very convincing that, that PSU capital goods stocks normally rise 2 years after capex picks up for the government. Just take us through that argument, and therefore, will you all be bullish on some PSU capital goods stocks?
Yes, so the historical evidence suggests that whenever we see a stronger capital expenditure coming from government side, generally it takes time to convert it into ordering trend because a lot of tenders are there. And hence we are expecting this large capex which has been rolled out. We'll see, mainly this year, given that the elections were due, a lot of capex was withheld. And now we are going to see a lot of tendering activities to pick up now, given the Q4 is very nearer. So from Jan onwards, we see a lot of big ticket orders in sectors like defense, railways, as roads and highways should be there. So that's our take.
So which stocks, which would you go by in the PSU basket?
In the PSU basket, since I look at Capwood sector, what we like is Hindustan Aeronautics, Bharat Dynamics, Bharat Electronics in that space. On the railway side, we like RITES. The other sector that we generally talk about in the PSU space, we like SBI, we like GAIL in that particular space as well.
Yeah. Okay, so PSUs are your pick for 2025 when it's about playing government capex. Just throw in a word on valuations as well, Harshit. I mean, with this market correction, because anyway, the private sector names were anyway trading at, I think, 90 times, some of them 100 times the ABBs and Siemens of the world. Now, with this correction, have valuations at all come into some kind of a comfort zone? I mean, so Siemens fell 9%, right? But they say if you want to buy these stocks, you have to wait for such corrections to come in. So for someone who has a medium-term view, would you look at the MNC names at all, or would you stick with PSUs? Do you have, apart from the ordering, do you also have valuation comfort there?
Yes, so within the MNC space, yes, valuation comforts have started to come in. Earlier, it was at around 80 times. Now, both the stocks, if you look at a 2-year forward, they are close to around 65 times. So that's been a reasonable level. One can start looking at this name, but I would still, be bullish on the government-related expenditure. So even in MNC space, who has a higher exposure on government-related capex, for example, Siemens has a higher exposure compared to ABB. So I would prefer Siemens over ABB in this scenario.
Okay. What about power? I mean, it's partly private sector, obviously, and partly government. We saw NHPC and all announcing some moves in Bihar during the investor meet. Any of the power-related PSUs that you like?
So within the power space, I think my analyst Rupesh Shanke, he looks at the power sector and he has been bullish on NTPC and Power Grid within those names. On the smaller side, he likes SJVN is what we understand.
Okay, got that. And just to complete the point, Harshit, on public sector capex picking up, and that's your play in the traditional capital goods arena. Just tell us about the kind of big orders, so sort of we keep that on our calendar for 2025. Which are the specific products, systems, subsystems, HAL you mentioned, so I guess defense will continue to be hot. Just, in terms of some more qualitative color on the kind of big orders, the pipeline.
So on the defense side, we expect ordering trend on submarine to start. There were 3 submarines order which were anticipated. It was a Scorpion class coming from France, which was where Mazgaon docks will get benefit. So that's one order. On Hindustan Aeronautics, we're expecting a large order for 97 numbers of Tejas and additional which was required. The size expected to be upwards of 60,000 crores. Then we are looking at a LUCO order of 6,000 HP, which could be ordered, where it may go to private sector. The ordering trend for even metro would also pick up. We are sensing orders for Bhubaneswar metro coach also to be tendered out very soon. These are some large names that we recollect.
Got
You have
it,
no
got it.
hope of private sector, demand push. Is it all only, you're betting only on government expenditure? You don't see demand itself pushing, say, housing, cement demand pushing any capital goods? No?
We sense sectors like renewables, data centers, semiconductors, or the new age sectors where private capex has started picking up. But the core industries, whether it is steel, cement, auto, they would be a bit on the softer side as far as demand pickup is there. So it's more new age sectors we are sensing the cap goods industry is moving towards at this point in time.
And even there, Siemens is warning that it's okay, it's happening, but it's a little slow. Even some of these sectors like data centers, etc. Got it. Very helpful, Harshit. Thank you. So we'll watch out for those submarine orders, the Tejas, like you said, and a couple of major metro projects as well. So that's the big pipeline on the government side. Thank you. Thank you for joining in.
L&T, because the Ministry of Defence, it came 2 days back, so L&T will be a stock you should watch. Ministry of Defence has signed a 7,629 crore contract for Make in India artillery guns. So L&T is another stock in the space you should keep your eye on.
L&T and of course, Bharat Forge. I mean, they've had this.
No, I mean, this is a
longest
recent
running-
order.
Yeah.
It was end of week news.
End of
End of week news. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.